Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Tagoar here, keeping it tanky in Raid Shadow Legends, and revivers are one of the most crucial roles to have in this game. So what do I think are the best ones out there? That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to start off with 5, and then if it goes quickly enough, we'll see if we go clear up to 10. Alright, so let's get into it. And one of the best revivers out there, in my opinion, is actually an epic, and that is going to be the Void Epic Godseeker Elenaril. She is a very competent reviver, and I think she's actually kind of underrated. Most people just say that she's the one that can duo Sand Devil with Ninja. And I think she's worth more than that. On the A1, she attacks one enemy, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 5% of their max HP. Will not heal this champion. She's also defense based, so you know she's gonna be tankier. And this is good because it won't heal her, so it's always gonna go to the ally that needs it most. Slap her in regen or even an immortal set. Just an immortal set will give her the benefit of this A1 to herself. So it's not hard to get her the healing that she needs for herself.
Listen up, guys. You can get Elenaril for free, as well as Fayne, Uugo, and Tagoar as you level up. Just click my link in the description. Here's the steps to go about getting yours. Log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. This will not work on mobile unless you are downloading it for the first time. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get Elenaril for free, as well as 3 free epics. Just click my link in the description and enjoy this wonderful start to Raid.
On her A2, it's an AoE, it attacks all enemies, heals all allies by 15% of their max HP, then decreases the duration of all buffs on all enemies by 1 turn, and increases the duration of all buffs on all allies by 1 turn. This books down to 3 turn cooldown. The buff duration decrease is really nice. It's a polymorph proof attempt at a buff strip for, some of those annoying buffs like block damage and unkillable. And then increases the duration of all buffs on all allies is really nice. It helps keep the uptime up on your buffs. And on certain comps, it's actually used as a gimmick. Like in Wixwell teams, you have to have so much buff duration increase in order to make it work. And then on the A3, books down to a 4-turn cooldown. Only revives a single ally with 50% HP and turn meter. But what makes this revive so good is that it resets the cooldown on all their skills. So no matter who you're reviving, they are going to come back with exactly the skill you need, because they're going to come back with all of their skills. It's really, really strong. And then, as if that wasn't enough, on her passive, she increases the amount of healing allies receive by 10%, so that's great. And then the active effect, which is on a 4-turn cooldown as well. If an ally is about to be killed by a fatal hit, preempts that hit and instantly places Revive on Death on them for 1 turn before the damage is taken. So she has a second revive. This one unfortunately doesn't have the cooldown reset mechanic, but it's a second revive on a passive. That's how she does the Sand Devil. She revives herself, and then she picks up Ninja. Ninja deals some damage, and then just wait until they both die again. It's a really strong combo, but I think she's worth more than just a Sand team. So we are going to start off there with Godseeker Elenaril. Moving on to another really strong reviver in the Sylvan Watchers. I do not personally have this champion on any of my accounts, but Lvl Autumnborn is undeniably one of the strongest revivers in the game. She has a really solid kit, good solid base speed at 110. On the A1, attacks one enemy, places a continuous heal buff for 2 turns on the ally with the lowest HP. So a few of these revivers here are really focused on protecting that ally with the lowest HP, which is good because that's going to be the weak link for your team. And then on the A2, has a 100% chance when booked of full cleansing all allies, then places block debuffs and increase speed on all allies for 2 turns. Speed boost, AoE block debuffs, which is really, really strong, plus a full cleanse. I mean, What's not to love? And on a 3-turn cooldown, really, really solid. Alright, on the A3, revives a target ally with 40% HP and 50% turn meter, then places increased defense and increased attack on that ally for 2 turns. So, realistically, I mean, as far as a reviver goes, Elva's is okay. Elva's revive is okay. But I think the rest of her kit really bumps her up through the ranks of revivers. But if we were going just strictly based off of revives, Elva wouldn't be on this list today. Then on the passive, heals each ally by 10% of their max HP at the start of their turn. Places a perfect veil for 1 turn on the ally with the lowest HP at the end of this champion. She almost gives your team a regen set. Almost. 2/3 of a regen set each time they take a turn. And then speed in all battles by 19%. Elva is a really strong support for sure, and then her revive is nice on top of that, but I guess realistically she's more of a healer than a reviver. Okay, now moving on to the orcs for one of my favorite revivers, which is Raka Viletide. Raka Viletide is a very, very capable healer, support, reviver, you name it. She's got it. 109 base speed, so she's got good base stats as well. On the A1, attacks one enemy, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 10% of this champion's max HP. This is literally twice the heal that Godseekers will produce, and it's based on her HP. So you build her with a crap ton of HP, and it'll be even better than that. There's a lot of healing that can be generated off of this A1. On the A2, full cleanse for all allies, then places increased attack and shield equal to 25% of this champion's max HP on all allies for 2 turns. When I first saw that shield, I didn't think it was going to be worth much. But as I trained her and got her some more HP, while that shield looks small on her, once you start looking at the rest of the team, you're like, oh shoot, no, this shield beefy. And obviously boosting with increased attack on top of a cleanse is really nice, especially on a 3-turn cooldown. Then the A3 revives all dead allies with 50% HP and turn meter, then places block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. Will place the block debuffs even if there are no dead allies. So her revive even has additional utility when there are no dead allies. AoE block buffs is so strong. She was the first champion that I got that had a 2-turn AoE block debuffs, and let me tell you, it changed the game for me. But that revive did as well. I mean, AoE revive with block debuffs is just really, really strong. That's just undeniable. And then with the passive, active effect at the start of each turn fills the turn meter of all allies by 10%, and the passive effect at the start of each turn places a continuous heal on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns. Will not place the continuous heal on this champion. That is booked down to the active effect is booked down to a 2-turn cooldown, so she's even filling turn meter. That doesn't sound like much, all allies by 10%, but it's actually a lot of turn meter over the course of a battle, believe it or not. And then she has speed in all battles by 19%. Raka Viletide, in my opinion, is like top 3 best revivers in the game. She is one of my favorites for sure. So let's see, that's 3. Let's see. Up next here, who we got? And this is in no particular order because each of these revivers have their own strength and niches. But up next for me, I am going to go Pythion, an absolute tank of a support, coming in at 105 base speed, so not too bad. The A1 attacks one enemy 2 times, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 5% of this champion's max HP after each hit. A good solid A1, basically Raka's A1, just split up into 2 hits, which is good because that offers the opportunity for multiple allies to be healed with the same A1. The A2, full cleanse, then heals them by 10% of their max HP, heals each ally by an additional 5% for each debuff removed, also places block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. That is on a 3-turn cooldown. Very capable cleanse here. Again, going in with AoE block debuffs is really strong. Because not only are you cleansing, but then you are giving yourself a little insurance to prevent future debuffs. Plus that heal can get really, really big in a hurry. I mean, think about it. You can have up to 10 debuffs on a champion, and it's not at all uncommon to stack up to like 5, depending on the content you're doing, especially like in arena is what I'm thinking of. And if that happens, 5 debuffs, that's a 35% heal for all allies. It's a good chunky heal conditionally. And then the revive is all allies with 50% HP and turn meter, then places strengthen on all allies for 2 turns. So similar to Raka's, just replacing the block debuffs with strengthen, which in some cases is better because strengthen's going to negate damage that the allies will take, making it harder to kill them again. So Pythion is really solid. A lot of people, I think, kind of overlook him because of the state of the game now, and he just doesn't have a bunch of like flavor. He's just there. He's there for throughput. That's on the AoE revive on a 4-turn cooldown, so it's very reliable. And then the passive, allies receive 5% less damage from skills for each buff on them. Stacks up to 25%. 5 buffs is not hard to get a hold of. He brings 2 himself. So, I mean, that's a strengthen on top of strengthen. So 50% damage reduction is just really solid. I cannot tell you how many times, especially early game, I saw Pythion and just kind of grumbled to myself because I knew it was going to be a long fight just because of how tanky he can make a team. Pythion, definitely one of my favorites. For number 5 here, we're going to go to the Undead Horde down to Siphi the Lost Bride, one of the top revivers in the game. Some people would contend that she is the best, but, you know, I am entitled to my own opinion. And I think she's solid, but I don't think she's like the best. The A1 attacks one enemy, has a 100% chance when booked of placing sleep for 1 turn if the target's turn meter is equal to or above 50%. This debuff cannot be resisted and heals all allies by 5% of their max HP if the target's turn meter is below 50%. This A1 is really good. Again, it's something that can be used in Sand Devil, but it can also heal if you target enemies correctly. So not a bad A1. It's especially nice because it cannot be resisted, so you don't even have to build her with accuracy. And then the A2 places block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. We've already talked about how good that is. Then fills the turn meter of all allies by 10% and places increased defense and increased speed on all allies for 2 turns. So this skill is really good for the buffs, but I mean, Raka gives that amount of turn meter on a passive on half the cooldown. So if turn meter boost is what you're looking for, you can do way better than Siphi, is what I'll say. But those buffs are really strong. It's Elva's A2, but better. That's the takeaway. That's the takeaway for this. Yeah, Elva, budget Siphi. The A3 revives a single ally with 55% HP and a full turn meter. Places increased attack and increased crit rate on that ally for 2 turns. One of my favorite things to do is to pair Siphi with an AoE reviver. So let's say you're in arena and your entire team gets wiped except for Siphi. If you've got a second reviver, you just pick that reviver up and then that reviver revives the team like a Pythion. And then boom, you've got your team back, you're back in business. Very, very strong revive. I don't think this needs to be on a 4-turn cooldown for a single target revive. I think, in my opinion, if it's going to be a single target revive, it either needs to do something busted or it needs to be on a 3-turn cooldown. This is 2025 Plarium. 3-turn single target revive should not be an issue. And then the passive effect heals each ally by 10% of their max HP at the start of their turn. Has a 50% chance of removing freeze and fear debuffs from each ally at the start of this turn. At the start of their turn. Removes all debuffs from Rhodos at the start of their turn if they are on the same team. I wish it was more than just freeze and fear, but I mean, it's better than nothing, to say the least. And then she's got resistance in all battles by 80. Siphi, still a very, very strong support and reviver. Just not one of the best, in my opinion. And I think I'm going to throw in 2 honorable mentions. Actually, no, one of them's not even an honorable mention. I just have to correct myself because I'm going to replace Elva with somebody who is arguably the best reviver now. and that's Senna Amberheart. I've not played with Senna. I don't have a Senna, but I've seen a couple people using her, and this champion is just busted. This is the best PvE reviver in Raid Shadow Legends. What does she do? The A1 attacks one enemy, has a 60% chance to instantly activate a continuous heal buff on each ally. That is really strong once you get in. Not only is that a crap ton of healing, but once you get through her kit, just gets better. On the A2, places increased speed and 2 continuous heals on all allies for 2 turns. Also fills the turn meter of all allies by 20%. Increased speed, great. Turn meter fill, great. And 2 continuous heals, which she is then activating. So, I mean, this A2 is just phenomenal. A 30% heal for 2 turns, plus increased speed and turn meter. There's nothing to dislike about that skill. And then it comes together with the passive, but it gets even better with this A3 that revives all dead allies with 50% HP and turn meter, then ally attacks with everyone revived with this skill against the enemy with the lowest HP. This is on a 4-turn cooldown. Full team revive with potentially a full team ally attack? Excuse me? Yes, please? Not only now is she the best reviver, but she's potentially the best ally attacker as well. Because then with this passive, whenever a continuous heal buff activates on any ally, fills the turn meter of all allies by 5%. At the end of this champion's turn, increases the duration of continuous heal on a random ally except this champion for 1 turn. So we've got 2 continuous heals on each ally. That's a 10% turn meter fill for all allies each time an ally takes a turn. It's stupid how much turn meter she can put out. Not to mention, she activates them on each ally on the A1. You're in Hydra, 1 A1 that does this. Each ally activates one. 6 allies, including herself. 5% for each one. 30% turn meter fill off of an A1 for all allies. It's insane. And then she's got speed in all battles by 19%. What is not to love about Senna Amberheart? No block debuffs. Literally, that's the only thing they could do to make her better at this point. Give her block debuffs, sky's the limit. Plarium, I'm not saying debuff as Senna Amberheart. Good lord. She is really powerful as is. I mean, look at these reviews. The lowest I see is a 4.5, and that's in campaign. She's nuts. She's really good. I can't believe I forgot about her. I keep forgetting about that champion. It's probably just because I've never gotten her. Now, my honorable mention before we wrap up today's video is going to be Arbiter. Yeah, she's been around for forever. And yeah, she's attainable through missions, so you wouldn't think she'd be that great. However, she is still one of the better revivers, especially in a PvP setting. What does she do? On the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a weaken for 2 turns. Nice to have, little increase in damage dealt. A2 attacks all enemies 1 time, has a 100% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Again, that's a nice to have. Polymorph proof, then that can help with stone skin, block damage, unkillable, plenty of annoying buffs out there to deal with. On the A3, places a can increase attack on all allies for 2 turns, then fills the turn meter of all allies by 30%. Heals all allies by 25% of their max HP if they have less than 50% HP. That is on a 3-turn cooldown booked. That is one thing I like about Arbiter. She doesn't take a metric ton of books. That's a solid heal. And a lot of turn meter. And then for her revive, the A4 revives all dead allies to 30% HP, then fills the turn meter of all allies by 20%. Grants an extra turn to this champion if an ally was successfully revived. That revive in and of itself is not great. 30% HP and 20% turn meter is kind of trash, not gonna lie. But then you realize this extra turn can move into this A3, where you fill the turn meter by 30%, bringing them up to 50%. Then heals them by 25% of their HP, because they are below 50% HP, which brings them to 55%. So realistically, she's actually, when doing that combo properly, she's actually a cut above a lot of revivers. It is a setup technique, so the revive itself isn't that great by itself. But if you can follow it up with this A3, it's a really strong combination. And then she's got speed in arena battles by 30%, making her still one of the better choices in arena, as her reviews suggest. So guys, that is going to be my little discussion about revivers. Just a handful of them in no particular order. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did I screw anybody over that you think is a better reviver than... Honestly, I think Elva is probably the weakest link in today's video. So, do you think there's anybody that I snubbed? Let me know down in the comments. Maybe I'll do a part 2 of this video if you guys like it. That's all for me. Stay happy and healthy, and stay tanky.